Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Again, my name is Brad Bertram. I'm with Restaurant Solutions. Today, I'm actually being joined by Tina Glickman as well as Haley Russman from BentoBox, a strategic partner we have that focuses on websites and marketing and SEO and a lot of really cool components that I think the independent restaurant industry doesn't think of when they look at driving sales within their four walls. Tina and Haley, thank y'all for taking the time to speak to your expertise today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So I know just enough about BentoBox to be dangerous, and I'm sure y'all have a lot more insight onto what your overall capabilities are. If you don't mind, if we can just kick us off, just what is BentoBox, and really, who are you and what do you do?
For sure. So first of all, I'm Tina Glickman. I'm the head of partnerships here at BentoBox, which means that I've had the pleasure of working with Brad and for over a year now with this partnership. And just thank you in advance for giving us the opportunity to share more about ourselves with your customer base too. I'll just start with a little bit about BentoBox and we'll take it from there.
Perfect.
Cool. So BentoBox was founded in 2013 to empower restaurants to own their presence, their profits, and their relationships with their diners from the website itself. So our hospitality technology helps restaurants drive high margin revenue directly through their website with features like online ordering, catering, gift cards, and events management too. I think something that's really important to note about BentoBox is that our websites are for restaurants only. So they're designed by our in-house expert team. They're all digitally accessible. SEO best practices are built in, and they're super easy for restaurant owners and operators to keep menus, hours, locations, press even, all that information up to date in the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add a little bit more to that, I'm Haley Russman, the VP of Marketing at BentoBox. And we're super proud at BentoBox that we work with over 6,000 restaurants, work with hospitality groups and hotels in all 50 states and 20 countries as well. And we work with every type of restaurant, so independent. We work with, I had mentioned those hospitality groups, multi-location restaurants, and any type of restaurant. So those neighborhood spots, fast casual bars, coffee shops, bakeries, kind of you name it. And our goal at BentoBox really in our vision is to be that technology that elevates every interaction between restaurants and their guests. So really we see this at BentoBox, the core of our business is hospitality and that guest relationship. So we want our product to enhance that experience and also help restaurants really be successful in that way.
Definitely. No, thank you for that. And I just have to say that for all the clients that we have as mutual clients, thank you all for making them look good. I can always tell when I'm on like a BentoBox website because it's clean, it's sharp. The pictures and just the layout is really good for people to navigate through those sites and either do online ordering if they have it active, but also just find out where they are. One of the things I've seen, and thank you both for organizing this, something we've shared as our company has been the website grader. And I think that's been a really cool tool to share with not only our site clients, but also prospects for them to understand where their site is lacking on things like maybe ADA compliance, or even if it's just missing like the H1 tags on the menu items, so that impacts SEO. Like if you're looking for best burger, my zip code 78729. I get tired of looking at the same thing. I want to find new items, and if they don't have the right SEO backing, then they could be missing out on all those people searching for the best, whatever their menu item is, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what's great about the website grader itself. It's one thing to tell a restaurant, like, listen, you could really improve your website. But what does that mean, right? Maybe to that restaurant owner, they think the photography that could be improved, but there's so many other things that contribute and other best practices that are built into a BentoBox specific, like restaurant specific website, that website report and grader will really illuminate for the restaurant owner and operator themselves, right? They can just put in their URL and then within 5 seconds, they see a ton of things that they're doing well on their website as well, but also specific areas for improvement.
I love it. And I know what we'll do is we'll provide a link to that website grader for anybody who's listening and who wants to take
Great.
a look. Are they in line with driving revenue through their website, or just having those tags, everything in place? We'll have that available for them. So thank you for putting
Wonderful.
that.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess, looking at where we're at as a restaurant industry, what have y'all seen? How are restaurants positioned, and how do you see their current state and what they're doing to grow within our current economy, current pandemic, everything else?
Yeah, so great question. I think we have all seen that the pandemic has created a fundamental shift in our industry, throughout the entire industry. Technology is more important than ever. The future of restaurants in a COVID-safe world relies heavily on tech and finding a way to connect diners to restaurants so that it can actually continue to support local and small businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just worth noting is recognizing there's these industry-wide challenges. So restaurants have a number of concerns right now with reopening and operating safely with all these precautions in place, making sure that they can make ends meet despite operating at a reduced capacity. And also just maximizing this high margin revenue, especially during the holiday season, which is a time historically, which has been a really important and busy time for restaurants. So making sure they're still maximizing revenue and kind of handling these unprecedented challenges and concerns. So yeah, we've seen our industry go through so many changes, but continue to persevere and adapt with grit and determination. So it's a really, really hard time right now for restaurants. We're also really invigorated to help and work through and navigate this period of time.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think that having that digital presence from multiple angles and driving traffic, we're all kind of in a state of sustainability right now. And I mean, different markets are seeing different, I guess, impacts of to-go, takeout, online ordering. But there's one thing about it. I don't believe that takeout or online ordering or delivery services, in a lot of ways, they're not going to go away anytime soon.
Agreed.
My restaurant group, I was kind of their projections on how things are going to be sustained, even after the pandemic, and after we get some kind of some kind of herd immunity or immunizations kind of built up, the shots and everything that are starting to come out now. They don't anticipate that dine-in will go, I guess, come back to normalcy until 2028. And that seems so far out. But how have y'all seen the impact of COVID work from these online ordering systems, or what has BentoBox been able to do to assist through those processes?
Yeah, I mean, listen, on top of all of those challenges that we just shared, like there are still these underlying issues and challenges that restaurants face as a whole. So you had mentioned online ordering and takeout not going anywhere. Before the pandemic, and we agree, there was that pre-pandemic issue of third-party commissions, which has been a really big challenge for restaurants. Restaurants operate on extremely thin margins. And so while we recognize that third-party marketplaces provide a platform to reach customers, really our mission and what we've been trying to help restaurants do is empower them with tools so that they can build direct relationships and they can drive revenue directly through their own website and not have to go through additional technologies and partners to do that. So that's really been a priority of ours and something that we've observed in the marketplace as of late.
Yeah, I think that also, especially with the pandemic, like restaurants should know that diners will be relying more on pickup and delivery, whether it's for safety, whether it's for convenience. They need to know that diners will rely on that more in the upcoming winter months. So the restaurants really need to be making sure that they're optimizing their own direct channels. Capacity restrictions are adjusting every day, right? You can't count on having 50% capacity indoor, outdoor. The next day it may be down to 20%. The next day it may be down to zero. And I think that the owners really understand that their survival depends on effectively marketing to diners, especially for off-premise right now, but it's just not their area of expertise. So I think that they understand the importance of diversifying their offerings and really, really driving off-premise revenue. And that's what we're here for. And that's where we know we can really help them convert visitors into paying customers directly through that website.
And so, listen, there's a number of ways that restaurants can adapt during this time. And I also think that it's worth noting that at BentoBox, we've also had to adapt and pivot. And we've done this because our goal fundamentally and our mission and our vision is to support restaurants. So as they've had to make changes, we've also made changes too, with providing new tools and technology that supports them in their ever-changing needs too. And that's something that we'll continue to do as a company and as a brand and as a business to support restaurants as they evolve and as they adapt during the pandemic. So kicking it off over to Tina to talk about one of the first ways that we've adapted.
Yeah, and to Haley's point, direct online ordering is one of the first ways that restaurants can adapt. So we actually launched bento ordering, I think in mid-February, right before the pandemic, and it has become an absolute lifeline for our restaurants. That will hopefully act as a bridge to whatever comes on the other side of this, whenever that may be as well. So our zero commission service provides an exceptional customer experience that's designed specifically to convert more visitors into paying customers, and it's also designed to drive repeat customers. So we want to make sure that we're helping restaurants profits and not give it away to third-party services like some of the marketplaces that we're all very familiar with.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's funny. I've seen, I guess, there's been several markets that they've put caps on those third-party service fees, but it's been interesting to see how they add on additional fees that it's like, oh, this isn't a service fee, this is additional, I guess, tax or something like that. I know Denver did that. Then it's just they're just finding sneaky little ways of keeping those fees up there, so they increase their revenue, but don't put it back to the restaurant's plate. So thank you for doing something about that. It's a cool option for restaurants to be able to take.
Yeah, it's truly essential for restaurant survival to be able to keep as much of their profits as truly possible. Their margins are already so thin to begin with, so to have to continue to pay more money to third-party services just prevents them from just kind of staying open and operating and staying alive and in business. So it's really important to add that direct online ordering. And something else that restaurants can do is just to adapt the way they think about their website and think about their online presence differently. So really looking at their website as an online storefront that's always open. So your website should inform diners while also providing additional revenue streams. So just for a quick example, so as a diner, have you ever gone to a restaurant website and the information just wasn't accurate, or the hours were wrong, or it said that they offered curbside, but they really don't offer curbside? Or have you gone onto a website and it wasn't mobile responsive and you couldn't navigate it from your phone? So really at BentoBox, what we're trying to do is to eliminate these frustrations, especially during the pandemic when emotions are heightened and diners want a place to go for comfort and ordering food in an easy way. BentoBox really is looking to help restaurants create that best-in-class guest experience.
Yeah, and something that we've also seen throughout the pandemic is a website is the first place that a potential diner is going to go in order to find out whether you're open, if you have online ordering, if you have catering options, so that they can still continue to support your small business. But the website is exactly where they're going to find out that information first. And so, as Haley mentioned, I think it's really important for BentoBox to translate that actual restaurant brand online so that guests can get the same experience on the website as they would in the actual brick and mortar.
And another way that restaurants can adapt is also by driving high margin revenue directly on their website. So by selling gift cards, merchandise, tickets to online classes, the website's really a destination to do that. It's open 24/7, any time of day. And really there's no extra work needed for the restaurant staff. So the restaurant can just focus on, creating really wonderful food and not have to worry about the online aspect, which BentoBox takes care of.
Yeah, and it's been really, really remarkable to see how our restaurants have actually utilized BentoBox more than ever in creative ways that we hadn't seen them utilize our services before. So we see restaurants selling meal kits or family meals and catering packages. They're selling gift cards that will help them when they are able to reopen, or even tickets to online classes. And all of these have really helped diners kind of recreate the experience that they might have at a restaurant, but within their own home.
No, great idea. And I guess Haley and I were speaking a little earlier. I love to cook personally. I've got, I don't know how many kitchen gadgets I have for cooking different things. But this year, for Thanksgiving, I decided that I wasn't going to cook. I wanted it to be a time just to sit back and relax. And so I was able to order through several of my restaurants I work with here in the Austin area to get all of my sides, all of my mains, and just go pick it up. And I It was the most relaxing Thanksgiving ever, and I have to say that I look forward to doing it again for Christmas because I was able to not only have a more comfortable, I guess, situation in my household, and not worry about timing for cooking and staging and everything else, but I didn't have to clean up very much.
Right. It's a dream.
I open up an extra bottle of wine and sit back and relax and hang out with my parents. So the same thing again for Christmas.
Yeah, and maybe a bottle of wine you actually purchased from one of your restaurants that wasn't able to sell that before through their website.
You bring up a very valid point, and duly noted. What have y'all seen, and how have restaurants changed from their marketing tactics through COVID, or I guess pressing that forward as well?
Great question. Yeah, great question. It's really interesting is that, restaurants have had to adapt by reprioritizing marketing. Restaurants that have had no problem, selling reservations out or being completely booked up have had to really think about how they're marketing and how they're engaging with their guests and their customers. And we say that, that really starts with the website as a primary marketing channel. So your website should have all the latest information. It should include safety precautions, and it should include your latest menu offerings too, because of course, with the pandemic, menus are changing constantly and your offerings are changing as well. So we also have seen restaurants adapt how they're leveraging social media channels and email marketing to communicate with diners. And more important than ever is that restaurants build that direct guest relationship. To kind of go back to what we were talking about, those third-party marketplaces, is that the relationship is not with the restaurant at that point, it's with the marketplace. And really at BentoBox, we encourage, restaurants to build that direct relationship with guests. And we have built-in best practices to help them do that.
Yeah. It's also important to note with the marketplace is that, let's say I order from Marketplace XYZ and order from a very specific restaurant. Next time I go think about wanting that food, I don't say, oh, I want to order again from ABC restaurant. I think, oh, I need to order again from the marketplace. And then I enter the marketplace, and what do I have? I have hundreds of different options at my disposal, right? There are hundreds or thousands even of restaurants that I can order from. So you're not even redirecting them back to your own restaurant, like to your menu that you're providing to them. So, restaurants are expected to lose $240 billion by the end of 2020. This holiday season, especially as the weather changes, it's a pivotal time for restaurants across the nation. Right now, we're really focused on empowering restaurants during the holiday season with products that help them deliver safe on and off-premise experiences and also, again, drive high-margin revenue. So looking ahead, we'll, of course, continue to listen to our customers, hear what their needs are, and then continue to evolve our products to better support their ever-changing needs.
Yeah, exactly. Just to echo what Tina said too, is that, we're just deeply committed to supporting restaurants. And, of course, we're planning ahead for next year and beyond, but also taking it day by day and just supporting restaurants as they need us most, and adapting our product to be there for them and just help them overcome each challenge that comes. And we know we're going to come out stronger and better on the other side.
Absolutely.
No, I definitely appreciate that. And I think, it's funny how being in the industry, I think for the amount of time I've been working in restaurants and talking with restaurants, we always talk about creating that in-house dining experience and how we've had to shift not only these last 9 months or so, but even moving forward to having and offering that digital experience. Thank you for offering a forum for the restaurant industry to cultivate that. It's been pretty impactful.
Yeah. I will say I remember my first conversation with our CEO, Crystal. She asked me a question and she said, what would our business be if there was no restaurant industry? Like, what if there was no hospitality, right? And I remember in my mind, like the first thing I thought, well, that's not going to happen. And then maybe like 6 months later, COVID hit and we started watching so many of our restaurants struggle and have to go out of business in the past couple of months. So it's been really, really painful to see. And I think that being able to evolve and being able to innovate alongside the restaurants is really, really powerful and helping them understand this world that is digital hospitality, because I think that can be just as meaningful to the diner. And so we're here to support in every single way we can.
That's fantastic. Well, I thank you all so much for offering your expertise and more importantly, the service that BentoBox represents. I'll say it again because I think it's such a vital tool, that website creator, which we'll have a link for. If you have any questions about your website and just want to get, I think by and far the industry's leading expert on marketing and SEO work, to take a look at yours. It's pretty simple. You can just submit a form and they'll give you an instant report letting you know how you stack up and where you can improve. So thank you all so much for the time today.
Great.
I think there's a lot that we will be seeing in the coming months, and it's good to see y'all are at the forefront of helping restaurants be sustainable and more importantly successful through this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and the opportunity.
Thank you.